Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Regional Vice President, Mr. Ayden Toma!
How you doing? Mic on? Great. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. It is an honour for me to be on stage, training all of you here today on the 30th anniversary of ACN. A little bit about my background. So we started, my brother and I, I'm sure you know him, the self-proclaimed beauty of the Toma brothers. I'm here, baby! I knew you were. So we started an ACN back in 2017. And I'm really grateful to be able to trade this subject with you today, because it is this subject that I will take you through today, the training, is a reason I stand here on stage as a regional vice president. Because in 2017, Albert and I were in a very crucial point in our life. We were broke. And when I say broke, I don't just mean broke as in we didn't have money. We were time poor. We were working 80 to 100 hours every single week. We did that for exactly 10 years. And in 2017, we really started to question everything. We really wanted to know, is this really it? Do we just continue working and working and working? And the video that Senior Vice President Memory Ahad just played earlier this morning, that was exactly us. As a matter of fact, we knew where that money was going before it hit the account. Now that is depressing when you are working 80 to 100 hours a week, every single week for 10 years. And then when you look back, you haven't moved the needle forward. If anything, you're in more debt. The needle has moved backwards. And in 2017, we received a phone call with the most famous sentence in ACN. Do you look at other ways of making money? Yeah. We were so desperate to look at something else. That phone call saved us. I couldn't tell you where we would be right now if that one person did not make that one phone call. Yes, we looked like we were doing very well from the outside, but honestly, we weren't. I had no idea about network marketing. Never heard about it. I have never heard about residual income prior to watching the video and being presented with the ACN opportunity. Never heard about it. But it just made sense. But what made more sense is when we got started, within a couple of months, there was an international event in Melbourne. And our mentor at the time said, you've got to attend the international event. To be quite honest, I wasn't going. But because Albert is very convincing, I attended the international event. And within the first 2 minutes, I sat up there in Melbourne. Something happened. I was looking around and everybody was just happy. I didn't understand why. Why is everyone jumping around? Why is everyone so happy? You see, events is not what you actually get as in the information. It's the actual environment that really started to make me think what was going on. Because when you place yourself in an environment like this, you can't fail. We made a pact at that international event that no matter what, we were going to go regional vice presidents, and one day we will be standing on stage training everybody else that this system works. Now what really happens when you come to an international event or any other event, your vision starts to elevate. Albert and I had a very short vision prior to attending our first international event. We were just thinking how to go from ETL to regional directors at the time. To team coordinators at the time. When we left the international event, we were thinking about how do we become regional vice presidents in the shortest amount of time. That's how elevated our vision started to become. And we started to ignore all the negative thoughts around us. Every single person that was concerned about why we started this business and why we're doing this and why we're doing that. 7 years later, we look back and the people that were actually concerned are still doing the exact same thing they were doing 7 years ago, complaining about where they are. So leave all the negative thoughts out of it. But this quote really made sense to me. And it's from Tony Cooper, one of our co-founders. And it says, promoting events will do more for you than you can do for yourself. And that is true, because there isn't a single person here today that can replicate what you guys have received this weekend. Yes. Yeah. Not a single person. So what do actual events do for you? You know what they do? It is the fastest way to become a regional vice president. Because when you bring your team here, everybody on stage is working for you. Every single person. All you need to do is be here and bring your team. And every single regional vice president and senior vice president will be doing the work for you, building your business absolutely free. That is the most powerful concept I can leave you with when it comes to promoting events. Now let's talk about promoting events. What's an event? Everything's an event. A one-on-one is an event. A virtual one-on-one is an event. A PBR is an event. A Zoom call is an event. Live or virtual group BOMs, they're events. All of these things are events. Leadership training, that's an event. An Emerge event is an event. An Elevate, where you are right now, it's an event. If you sit there and you just watch a regional vice president being promoted on YouTube, that is an event. And the reason I tell you that is because I think Albert and I have watched nearly every single regional vice president that has ever been promoted to regional vice president in ACN prior to us being promoted to regional vice president. Why did we do that? Because that fueled us every single time. Moving on. Promoting events means creating value and purpose. You've got to be able to create the value for people to be able to attend. Like I said to you, Albert is very convincing. He created so much value, and mind you, he had never been to an event. That's how convincing he was for me to come to an international event. He built a lot of value into it. Our mentors built a lot of value into it. When we walked out, Senior Vice President Brian Sachs was here at the time, and we asked him a single question. How do we become regional vice presidents? Said two things. One, you've got to work hard. That was already taken care of because Albert and I were already doing 100 hours a week. So working hard was not an issue for us. And he said, block out, and it was Saturday training at the time, said block out the next 5 years of your Saturdays and dedicate it to your Saturday training in ACN. Do not ever miss an international. And within 5 years, if you do that and you work hard, you will become a regional vice president. Ladies and gentlemen, we became regional vice presidents in the middle of the pandemic. When no one could leave home, we became regional vice presidents because the business that you are currently involved in is unstoppable. Whether you've got a pandemic or no pandemic, if you set your eyes on the prize, you will achieve regional vice president. So tell people the purpose of the event. The purpose of all events is for you to be able to sharpen your tools, for you to be able to understand how this business actually works. Tell people why they need to attend an event, because every single time you attend an event, you're actually setting yourself 6 months in front of everybody else. That's what you're doing. Edify the speakers, and this is very, very important. You need to be able to edify the speakers. A few weeks ago, we had the honor of having Shrimmy Van Rossum, Regional Vice President, come to Melbourne. We were on the phone and we were edifying Shrimmy every single day to our team so that they could attend and they could hear what Shrimmy had to say. And to be honest, thank you, Shrimmy. We had a very successful day there. We had a lot of fun as well. But edifying the speakers is very, very important. Create fear of loss. Creating fear of loss is probably one of the best things Albert has. He can create fear of loss to anybody, and within 2 minutes, Albert will get you to do what he wants you to do, even if you don't want to do it. That is he's a big aspect of why we became regional vice president, because he had this down pat. He understood all we need to do is get people to the event. And we built from event to event to event. Because every time we went to an event, we exceeded. Our business grew, our business doubled. And the more people we had there, the more our business started to grow. And then use testimonials. Testimonials are one of the most powerful tools we have in ACN. When I sat on my first international event, I watched Senior Vice President MD Rahman walk on stage. This man was dressed in Louis Vuitton. Mind you, I'm up there, I'm broke. He's dressed in Louis Vuitton, he's walking around, he's selling his story. And when he mentioned that he was a New York taxi driver that got started and believed in this system, and he is where he is now, that really connected with me. Because MD, as you all know, English is not his first language. But what MD has done has inspired not just myself, but in my opinion, has inspired a generation to really go out there and go after their dreams. So let's talk about your business, ladies and gentlemen. How do you fit your business within your events? First and foremost, you go to a BOM and you sell the idea of ACN. This is it. You sow the seed. But you've got to be able to water your business, because anything you want to give life to requires watering. And if you really want to build your ACN business, you've got to be committed to nurture it. You've got to be committed to ensure that every single person that starts with you attends a weekly training. In-person weekly training. There is no regional vice president without training. There is no regional vice president without leadership. There is no regional vice president without emerge events. And there is definitely no regional vice president without Elevate. Why do I say that? Because events build your business, events build your belief, but most importantly, events build you. The reason Albert and I were able to break through the cycle that we were in for 10 years is because we never missed an event. And this is what happens when you attend an event. You start to get belief. How's your belief level today so far? How is your energy? That will transact into going out there and taking action. It automatically happens because when you have belief, you automatically get the energy, you're out there and you start to build your ACN business. And once you start taking the action, that is when you start to see results. This is a cycle of momentum. And once you start hitting momentum, do not break that cycle. But the only person that can create momentum in your business is you. Because you are the CEO of your business. You're the only person that's ever going to make you regional vice president. Don't depend on anybody else in your team, downline, or anywhere else that will come and hand you a regional vice president.
That's you becoming
Only you can do
regional
it.
vice president.
So you've got to believe
while you still have
in
an
the
ACL
system.
badge.
And I'm here to tell you today,
Because you've got to look like
proof
a regional
that
vice
this
president. You've got to
system
talk like a
works.
regional vice president, and you should act like a regional.
You've just
vice
got to believe it for
president from the day
yourself.
You start.
You've just got to
And that's
make
what
that
you
decision
vice president by not
that
missing
come hell or
any
high water.
of the events.
You will be at every single
And where
training
we are
event.
right now, we're at the precipice of
Because when you
the
have a
next
guest,
big momentum,
the
the
event-
next big wave.
you
in
need the
Asia
event.
Pacific.
Right?
The question
Because you get
is,
so excited,
how
you want
much
to take your guests and introduce them to all
of
the
that
leaders.
market share do you
But when
want?
you don't have a guest,
Where are you going to
the
be in
event
10 years'
needs
time?
you. Because
When
there
we
is somebody
celebrate
else
our-
that is excited, that wants to come to the event and introduce their guests to you. That's leadership. That's you becoming a regional vice president while you still have an ETL badge. Because you've got to look like a regional vice president, you've got to talk like a regional vice president, and you should act like a regional vice president from the day you start. And that's how you become a regional vice president, by not missing any of the events. And where we are right now, we're at the precipice of the next big momentum, the next big wave in Asia Pacific. The question is, how much of that market share do you want? Where are you going to be in 10 years' time? When we celebrate our 40th anniversary, what position will you hold? How big will your team be? What is your goal for the next 12 months? Because if you don't write it down, it's only a dream. You've got to write down your goals. And when you come to events, that is where your goals come true. Because that's what happened for Albert and I. We haven't missed a single Elevate, or we used to call it international event. We became so radical, we started to travel to the US to attend international events there and take our team there because we believed in this system so much. And if I can leave you with anything, don't ever listen to anybody you don't want to trade lifestyles with. Don't. Only listen to people that you want to trade lifestyles with. In that, that's my close. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Gotta find my way to you, even though you're next to me. No matter what I do, your heart is drifting out of reach. Head underwater, I'm swimming harder, trying to keep this alive. Gotta find my way to you, now that our love has capsized. Gotta find my way to you, no matter what I do. Gotta find my way to you. Gotta find my way to you, even though you're next to me. No matter what I do, your heart is drifting out of reach. Head on the water, I'm swimming harder, trying to keep this alive. Gotta find my way to you, even though you're next to me. No matter what I do, your heart is drifting